Have you looked at your GLP-1 journey and ever wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, I'm going to tell you, I have been taking a GLP-1 for over 2 years, 28 months to be exact. I have asked myself that question more times than I want to admit. And here's something interesting. Have you ever used this? The formula 409 got its name because the scientists tried 408 times before they got the correct formula, and that's why it's called Formula 409. This reminds me a lot of my journey, being 2 years in, over 2 years taking Mounjaro. So think about that, 408 failures, but one success. One success. That reminds me of my GLP-1 journey. Not because I have failed, no, but because progress has taken longer than I expected. The scale slowed down for me, the food noise came back, the cravings creeped in again, the excitement wore off, and honestly, there were times where I wondered, would I really ever reach my goal? I have learned a hard truth that nobody prepared me for. I'm learning how to keep going even when the results don't happen as fast as you want them to. So stick around because today I am going to share my current weight, my A1C, my blood pressure, the best thing that has happened in 2 years, and the worst thing that has happened in 2 years. The biggest fear that I carry and what I plan to do about it. Here is truth number one for me. Something that I realized on this journey is that losing weight a little bit slower, or normal and slow, what I like to call it, is not a failure. It really isn't. Honestly, I did think the weight would come off faster. I thought I'd be losing. I thought at one point I was in cruise control and the weight would just come off fast. And that was not a reality for me. That was not my story. And 2 years later, I still have weight to lose. I want to lose between 60 and 70 more pounds. I still am learning. I'm still growing. I am still all in on this process. But there are times when it has bothered me. And I've seen people losing 100 pounds in a year's time. And I'm trying to get to that 100-pound goal, and it's 2+ years. Do you don't think I think about that? Do you don't think that crosses my mind? But I have learned not to compare. I have learned to embrace my journey, no matter how fast, how slow, or in between it is. If you're losing between 2 and 8 pounds a month, you're normal and steady. So I want you to realize, if you are slow and steady, if you are normal and steady, if you are not responding very well as far as the weight loss to this medication, that does not mean you're failing. That does not mean you can't eventually lose. That does not mean your weight won't pick up at some point. Slow means you're not failing. It means you are in the game. It means you are still showing up for yourself. And it means that you can do it. You're losing slowly or normally. You're just not losing fast. I think we have to let that go. And again, it was also a mindset shift for me. So we can do this. We've got this. Sometimes the biggest victory of all is just showing up for yourself and not quitting. But that brings us to truth number 2. I recently retired after teaching for 32 years. I am just so grateful, thankful, and blessed. If you've been following my journey, you know that retirement was such a huge milestone for me. I am 53 and I still have a lot of life to live, but I'm excited that I am blessed enough to be able to retire at this point in my life. I was excited. I am still excited. I was celebrating. I was living my best life. And as a result, I did gain weight. The old me would have panicked. I would have started second guessing myself. The old me would have looked at that scale and thought, I'm losing control. Here we go again. I'm not going to be able to do this. But I don't have that mindset anymore. My new mindset is telling me that this is just a bump in the road. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to quit. And I am just going to pick up where I left off. I decided that I am not going to let weight gain erase everything that I have lost to this point, or all the momentum that I have going, all the great things that I have going on this journey. I decided that one weekend or 1 week of some not so great choices aren't going to erase the thousands of good choices that I've made. Think about that. I have made thousands of good choices. Why would I let a few choices that weren't so good erase everything that I have worked for? So I refuse to do that. And here's a lesson that I learned that I want you to learn if you have not already on this GLP-1 journey. You can have celebrations, you can enjoy food, you can enjoy certain things that you have given up in the past, or even maybe you haven't wanted those things. You can enjoy those things and still be successful on your journey. So if you are someone who has beat yourself up and blamed yourself about having a little indulgence here or there, I'm going to tell you, you can enjoy your life and stay committed to your goals. Remember, it's progress, it's not perfection. And for me, it's 80-20. Now, I might have went a little bit over that 20, celebrating that retirement, but that's okay. I have zero regrets. Don't click off because I will share my weight. But before we get to that, I want to share with you the best part of my GLP-1 journey. And the best part of my GLP-1 journey is the labs. The health markers that show that my health is absolutely improving. I'm so excited to share this with you. I want you to hold on to the fact that even if you're losing slowly, you're a slow responder, non-responder, you're normal and steady, you're moving like that turtle or that sloth, that you probably have some great health markers going on. I want you to hold on to that, which is what I do when I get discouraged. So let's talk about these really fast. Back in February of 2024, my A1C was at a 7.6%. And as of March of 2026, my A1C is in the normal range at 5.6%. So that is great. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to continue to maintain that. And that's not all. For years, I would go to the doctor and my blood pressure would be elevated. It wasn't consistently all the time, but as I started to get over 300 pounds, it hovered in the 140s over 90. But at one point, my blood pressure had gotten up to 156 over 101. Can you believe that? I couldn't believe it. I was so outdone and I just felt defeated. And I said to myself, I'm going to bring that down. And I have successfully done that. So in March of 2026, my blood pressure reading was 124 over 82. And I'm going to tell you, there were a couple of times before that in October, I believe, where it was exactly a 120 over 80. And it may have been that reading another time. So I was just like, who would have thought that I would have a perfect blood pressure reading? I was never taking blood pressure meds. So I do want to say that, and I'm currently not, just in case people wondered about that. And that just tells me that no matter what that scale is saying, my health is improving. I want you to remember that sometimes your health improves even before the scale catches up. That's just so true. And I've heard story after story of people confirming that. Sometimes your body is winning even before your eyes can recognize it. So remember that. Even if I don't lose another pound from here, which I will, but I'm telling you, I am celebrating the fact that my A1C has improved. I've gained years upon years on my life. I lowered my blood pressure and I have reduced so many health risks that were hovering over me like a dark cloud. So cheers to that. And there is another big change that happened in my life that I want to talk about here. And that is the hormones of it all. I'm postmenopausal. So I'm postmenopausal and I made a huge decision. I decided to start HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I'm currently using Evamist. I also take progesterone. And I take the Evamist one spray in the morning, and the progesterone I take at night before bed. And I'm going to tell you, I wrestled with this. I am not the medication girl. This was not an easy decision. I did my research and I decided it was the right decision for me. I was mainly experiencing brain fog, and I associated it with getting older. I'm a teacher, right? So I got to have my brain pretty sharp. And it just bothered me that I was forgetting things, not remembering things like I normally do. I was also having hot flashes, not the kind that I would come out of my clothes, but it was uncomfortable. I was also having mood swings. I would be pretty moody, and I'm pretty even keeled, pretty upbeat most of the time. So that was a red flag for me that I was getting pretty irritable and moody. Those things you can't really necessarily see, but I just knew how I felt and I knew something was off. Another thing is I was not sleeping. So I will say that HRT has helped me feel like myself again. And when you feel better, it's easier to make health decisions for yourself. Sometimes we tend to focus so much on weight loss, we're not thinking about how we feel. So now I want to talk about the worst part of being on a GLP-1. And for me, that worst part is the emotional eating of it all. The medication can reduce inflammation. The medication can suppress your appetite. The medication can make you feel better. The medication can give you energy. The medication can reduce your food noise or eliminate it. The medication can reduce your blood sugar. But here is the truth. The medication is not going to cure your emotional eating. And I had to learn that taking this medication. And to this day, this is the hardest part of this journey for me. I'm going to be honest, when I first started taking the GLP-1, I thought the medication was going to cure this too. It was a hard lesson I had to learn that it does not. Emotional eating is not just about being hungry. Emotional eating is about stress. It's about boredom. It's about celebrating. It's when you're happy, when you're sad. And I always tell people I'm an emotional eater when I'm happy and when I'm sad. So I have had to learn other habits over time to replace that emotional eating. Sometimes I'm successful and sometimes I have not been. And what I want to point out here is that emotional eating is a mindset battle. It really is. It's not a medication battle. Learning that lesson has probably been one of the most valuable things that I have learned during this journey. So before I share my biggest fear, I want to share my weight loss with you. So I told you I gained weight. The question is, how much weight did I gain celebrating this fabulous retirement? So after 2 years and 28 months taking the GLP-1 Mounjaro, my current weight is 6 pounds. So I am 221.6. That means I gained 3.6 pounds. So if we do the math, that means on average, I have lost a little over 3 pounds per month. And as we know, that is normal and steady, not slow and steady. But I'm going to be honest, for a bigger person like myself, it does feel slow, but that's okay. We're going to normalize and we're going to be honest with the fact that it's still normal. It's still normal weight loss. So I'll take it. Glad to strut off with it. So that brings me to my biggest fear. I still have 60 to 70 pounds to lose on this journey. And I start to wonder, am I going to reach my goal? I'm on 12.5 milligrams. And the fear is if I get up to 15 milligrams and do not reach my goal, then what? Then what's going to happen? This is the best tool I have. What's going to happen if that does not work? All those questions pop in my head. And I know some of you have felt that. I know some of you have those same fears as I do. But I'm going to tell you, I've been challenging those fears here lately. The fear has been asking, what if you never get there? What if you never lose those additional 60 to 70 pounds? And guess what? Wisdom has been asking me, what if I do? I'm going to go with the wise question. What if I do? And with that mindset, it's not only what if I do, it's I am going to do it. Remember Formula 409? The formula that worked wasn't formula number 1. It wasn't attempt number 50. It wasn't attempt 100. It wasn't attempt 200. It wasn't even attempt 400. It was attempt 409. And because I'm going with the wise voice in my head, I'm becoming the woman who doesn't quit. And I'm not going to question my journey. I'm just going to continue to move forward and pick up where I left off. That's what you have to do. I like to think about things in analogies. If I dropped something that I knew I needed to get me to where I needed to go, I would pick it up and keep moving. And that's what I plan to do. So these 2 years have taught me to keep that fortitude going, to never give up, to continue to do the best job I can do with whatever I have going on at the time. So I don't know what year 3 is going to look like. I don't know how long it's going to take me to lose 60 to 70 pounds. I don't know what dose I'm ultimately going to need. But what I do know is the only way that guarantees failure is to quit. And guess what? I'm not a quitter and I'm not quitting. So what have I learned? Progress is not about that number on the scale. Progress is often about your improved labs, the things we can't see. I've also learned that success for me is lower blood pressure, lower A1C, normal A1C, more confidence, more hope, and most of all, the courage, the bravery it takes to keep going. So if you're still fighting, if you're still showing up, if you are still someone who hasn't given up hope, you're certainly closer than you think you are, because Formula 409 did not get its name by being successful. It got the name from making several attempts, but ultimately making those several attempts over and over and over until the failure became a success. It was named for being persistent. And so I am taking that spirit of persistence and consistency and fortitude into year 3 on my GLP-1 journey. If you are someone that's taking a GLP-1, you're a non-responder, slow responder, normal and steady, whatever you call yourself, just remember 9 is probably closer than you think. So with that said, I want you to hype this video. I really want people to see this video who have been on this journey for a long period of time, like myself, maybe a little bit discouraged. Even if you're 6 months in and you're discouraged, if you're 2 months in and you're discouraged, if you're going on year 3 and you're discouraged, I hope this video gave you some hope. So please share it out. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, and I want you to hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I go live or upload a video. And I am live every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So come and join me live so I can celebrate you. If you are interested in a more close-knit private group, join my inner circle. I will put the link in the description. We would love to have you join us. If you are interested in some GLP-1 goodies, go to my Stand Store. Click on that Stand Store link. The link is going to be in the description. Take advantage of the free resources, tools, and guides that are in there for you. And most importantly, I want you to take great care of yourself on this journey. We just have to. And remember, slow and normal, slow and steady wins the race. Just don't quit. Downsizing.